I'm Janiaya.
I'm Kel.
I'm Doug.
I'm Kiki.
We have a special guest today, Josh from the basketball team. Do you want to say hi?
Hello, everybody. My name is Josh, and I'm a freshman on the men's basketball team here.
And we're 4Change.
Okay. So today we are going to be interviewing Josh.
So, Josh, where are you from?
I'm from Culpeper, Virginia. My ethnicity, though, I am African, from Ghana and Togo.
Slay. Why'd you come to UMW?
I came to UMW because it's the community is great. It's not too far from home. It's about a 50-minute drive. And when I came here on my tour for basketball, just meeting the players, talking to the coaches, and just seeing what this school is about, it was very, very intriguing and compelling to come here.
I think we should also add as well, congratulations and for the D3 National Championship for basketball. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I guess we'll kind of jump straight into it. We've been covering a lot of topics on conflict and stuff like this within teams. In your first year here at UMW, you've obviously had a very successful season. During this season, do you think you've had so much success because of your team's very close, there's not very many niggles in the team, like there's very little controversy, everyone's kind of on the same page, or is there certain things that team leaders do, or maybe leaders in every year group they do? Is there anything that you think's really helped your team get from where you guys were last year when you were coming in to winning the national championship? And yeah.
I definitely think our team chemistry led to our success. I think we're all brothers, 1 through 15. I think everybody has a personal relationship with each and every single player. And I think that bonding of the team started in August when we were doing track workouts in the morning, whether we were lifting or playing basketball before official practice started. I think all those little things definitely helped us come together. And those things may seem small, but in a game like the national championship, having chemistry and having a good relationship with your teammates definitely carries out.
That's amazing. I have one more follow-up question for that. I am a sports person here myself, but I have not had the privilege of being at a national championship. I do just want to know, how did it feel?
It was amazing. I just want to say to God be the glory. It was an experience I've never, ever had before. Just the city of Indiana, when we first got there, we had a bunch of NCAA representatives meet us, and then even going to the hotel room, our beds had custom things on it, blankets. They gave us a helmet because Indiana's known for sports racing and whatnot, and just being able to, and then even going to the D1 national championship game and being on the floor in front of 70,000 people was a surreal feeling. So it's definitely one I'll never forget.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
So, I want to ask you, in small groups, like a team, there are people that play different roles, like the jokester or like the mediator, or like a natural leader. What role do you think that you play?
I think I fit into two roles. I would say number one would probably be the jokester of the team. I crack a lot of jokes, and I think that just helps everyone. When you're playing basketball, it's obviously very intense and very serious, but just bringing light to the room or on the court, I crack a lot of jokes sometimes, but I definitely know when it's time to lock in. And then I think I also have a natural born trait of being a leader. I know I'm a freshman, but I'm never afraid to speak up, especially if I know or if I see something that can definitely help everybody. So I'd say definitely being a jokester and a leader.
Who do you think is another person on your team that falls into a leader role?
I would say Jay Randall. He's a junior, number 11. Just from the second we got here on campus, Jay took me under his wing. I'll say Caden Bates as well. Jay and Caden, they took me under their wings and they just brought me up. Anytime I would ask them a question, they wouldn't get mad or annoyed. I would pester them for sure, asking them what it was like, the differences from high school to college, or how I could help this team out. But anytime I asked them, they would always take deep consideration into my questions and do the best to answer it. And then they also lead by example. So just the way they carry themselves, how they play, their effort, and you see it translates on the court. Jay and Caden were both all tournament team for the national championship, and They won. They were rewarded with a plethora of awards this year.
I have maybe a tricky question now. This is one I was thinking about last night. When Emery came back and tied it with 12 seconds left, what was the communication within the team? Because like definitely for me on the men's rugby team, if we had a situation like that, I honestly don't know how it would be handled. With everyone watching and there is 12 seconds of your season left, everything, all those early wake up calls, everything else, it's coming to that. What was said? Was it a player led conversation? Was it a coach led conversation? Was it a bit of both?
So with about 50 seconds left, we were up 4 and we crossed half court, and the coach called our last time out. So he told us like that was our last time out, and basically so just reminded us that if we called another timeout, we'd get a technical foul, they get the ball and free throws. So we all knew that we had no more timeouts. So we're up 4, and then they scored, so now we're up 2. Colin gets fouled, makes the first free throw, misses the second one. Coach puts me back in, and when they're dribbling up the court, I know we're up 3, and they give the ball to Ethan Faust, who had been making a lot of threes. And when he shot it, I was directly under the rim, so I knew he was gonna make it. And when it went in, my heart dropped. I was like, no way. And then I took the ball out of bounds, and I saw Kai. I threw it to Kai, and that's our best player right there. So with 10 seconds left, we just knew that get the ball to Kai, we would trust him to take us home. He got a pretty good look, and then his leg buckled, but Colin just being at the right place at the right time, got it off in time. And I remember before the game, coach told us that there would be chances where we could get offensive rebounds, so he told us to be aware of that. And Colin just happened to get it off, and I was behind Colin when he made the layup, so I knew he got it off in time. So it was an amazing feeling.
That's a great answer right there. I think even just the way you answer this question really shows the team dynamic you guys have and being so close knit. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It really reminds me. I am not a sports player, but I grew up in a sports family. My dad coached football. Both my brothers played either football or soccer, and so like, it's weird because I'm hearing you talk and I'm like, oh, you sound just like my brother right now. But something I feel like I always saw when my dad was coaching football was sometimes conflict would arise just out of pure miscommunication or out of like cultural conflict and stuff like that. Have there ever been moments like that in your experience on this team?
I wouldn't say anything that was ever too serious. We have like a motto that whatever happens on the court stays on the court, and we're all natural born competitors. So sometimes if we're scrimmaging in practice 5v5, we talk trash to each other here and there, but it's never anything deeper than basketball. But I think it helps everybody play better. You're not just playing just to play, but now you have a chip on your shoulder, so everyone's helping each other get better. So I'd say everything stays on the court, and off the court we're really close group, coaches included.
I mean, with the types of training that you were talking about in early August, I mean, it's kind of trauma bonding.
Yeah, for sure. Waking up at 6 was not easy, but it was definitely worth it.
What would you say is something people don't see about being a part of like a college basketball team?
I would say the amount of hours we put behind it. Like I said, waking up at 6 or lifting every day, it's definitely strenuous. And then also being a student, because we are student athletes, so managing the tasks between being an athlete and a student, it's definitely hard at times. We've been playing basketball since we got here in August, so it's April now, so it's like we've been playing ever since we got here. So it's also a mental thing as well. And then like everyone gets to go home during winter break or spring break, and we're here alone on campus sometimes, or some other sports teams are here. So it's definitely a mental hill, but I mean, we're all here for a reason. We all love basketball, so it's worth it. But I'd say definitely the mental aspect of playing for so long, it's definitely something that goes unnoticed.
How do you guys support each other off the court?
Our support off the court, we either go out to eat together, hang out at some of the older guys, their houses, or the sophomores who live in Eagle. We just spend time with each other, laughing, watching basketball games, football games, playing board games, just doing things like that that help with team bonding. And then, like I said, everyone is close with each other in 1 through 15, so we have a really good group dynamic. And I know the coaches definitely think about that aspect, not just the talent on the court, but how we would fit together as a team.
Coming on to the team, since you're a freshman, like, how did you feel? Were you intimidated, or like, did you feel like you were gonna, come onto the team and be immediately welcomed?
I would say I definitely wasn't intimidated on the welcome aspect, but I knew that they had a good end of the season last year, and most of everybody was coming back. So I didn't know what my role would be playing wise. So I didn't know if I'd play that much or not. So I kind of was just uh, I don't even know. I didn't think I was gonna play much, to be honest with you, but through hard work and practicing hard and just my effort, I was able to get into the rotation, earn the trust of not only my coaches but my teammates as well. And as the season went on, my confidence grew, and I think that's the biggest thing with basketball, or maybe any sport in general, just confidence. And by the time we got to the national championship game, it just felt like another game to me. So I'd say at first it was definitely intimidating and nervous, just getting to know new people, new teammates, in a whole new system versus in high school. But as time went on, it wasn't bad at all. It was amazing.
Did
Yeah.
you play basketball also in high school?
Oh yeah, so I played all 4 years in high school. I've been playing basketball since first grade, but I also ran track in high school as well and played soccer.
I have a question. How do you think like your other sports compared, like the small group wise, to basketball?
I didn't play soccer for too long, but track. So depending on what event you ran, or whatever event you did, you basically got broken up into groups. So I ran the 400 and the 4x4. So we had 8 people who competed for the 4x4. So we used to have races and whatnot and meets and stuff. So it was definitely very competitive. I'd say everybody was also challenging each other to be better. And there's a lot of lessons I took from track that I applied in basketball, just being able to push through. Like, when you run a 400, the last 50 meters seem like the hardest, but you can't walk to the finish line. You have to run through it. So just applying those things that even when you're tired, you still have to push through. That's an on the court lesson and off the court as well. And just working hard. Track wasn't my main sport, but I was able to work hard enough to make it to the 4x4 A team, and we even made it we placed third in the state last year. So definitely just working hard and whatnot, and just pushing each other.
This can be one for the group now, and including yourself, Josh, is that obviously finals are upon us, and we're working in lots of little different small groups apart from this one. Has anyone else had any trouble or any conflict within this last week or going into next week, and has there been a resolution to solve that problem? Open the floor up to anyone. I mean, if not, absolutely great, but
I would say the one class that I guess worries me would be my math class, but I have a couple friends in there, so we've been just already prepping because that test is on Thursday. So she gave us like the outline of what the exam will look like, so just getting ready for that. And she posted practice problems, so just preparing ourselves mentally, and I think that's gonna help us for sure.
You can go.
I know you're still a freshman, so it's okay to not have an answer, but what do you think you want to study here at UMW?
I'm really interested in cybersecurity in the computer science field, but I'd say the most interesting class I took this year was actually psychology. It was a class I just took as a gen ed, but it's to have it with Dr. Kolar. Yeah, the class is very intriguing, and I really like psychology.
Slide. Those are some good options.
Mm-hmm.
So, on your other teams that you played on before college, do you think you played like the same role, like the Joker?
So I'll compare it to my last year team, my senior year. I was definitely still a joker. Like, my personality definitely hasn't changed. I used to think that the older I got, I guess the less jokes I would make, but I think it's actually gotten worse, in a good way. But I was a little more serious, I guess, senior year because my team needed me the most. But versus here, where they have so many more guys, I was able to just find my role and like do what they need of me. Versus in high school, the load was kind of on me to do more. So I definitely had to be more serious and locked in just to prepare myself mentally. And because everybody was looking at me versus now me being a freshman, I'm looking at guys like Jay, Caden, Kai, Jaden Burgess, and all those guys who are leading us now.
How many freshmen are on the basketball team this year?
There's 5 freshmen. We
Five.
we call ourselves the Fab Five.
Fab Five, very nice, very nice. And in those 5 freshmen, obviously, you've had a fair bit of playing time throughout the year, and you've worked very hard for that.
Mhm.
Has there been any? I don't want to say jealousy or anything like that, but has there been any like hard conversations you've had to have with? Because I'm guessing you're Fab Five, you're all friends,
Mhm.
freshman class.
Yeah.
Are they people who are really supportive of you and just pushing you go kind of thing, or is it sometimes they're a bit standoff and like?
Oh, we're all brothers, and I can't I can't even express how close we are. And we're all just happy for one another. Almost all of us like had at least a moment this season where we got to shine. So whenever it was whoever's turn it was to shine, we were just very happy for them. Um, I think we're just very supportive. The bench energy, whether we're in the game or on the bench, you could tell. I remember in the national championship game, Ben and Ethan, and Anthony, they were just telling me things they saw because me and Preston, the other freshman, we were in the game. So they would tell us things that they were seeing and things that we could apply on the court. Because when you're on the court, you can't see everything that you're doing. So whenever we'd be in a timeout or huddle, they'd give us little pointers or things that they see. So I definitely think we're all close and supportive, and I know their times are coming soon for sure.
That's a great teammate right there.
So you were talking about how you did basketball in high school. How do you think that team atmosphere compares to the one here?
I honestly think they're pretty similar, and that was a big reason of why I committed here. My high school coach told me that the fit at Mary Washington would be very similar to the one at my high school, and I think that was very true. I mean, obviously, high school, we're gonna be a little closer because we grew up with each other since we were kids, but just coming in here, it feels like I've known all these dudes for such a long time, and it hasn't even been a year yet. But um, I definitely think the fit is very similar for sure, and it's only going to keep growing because nobody's leaving next year. So next year is going to be even better.
You talked a lot about how in senior year you got more serious because you felt like people needed you more. How do you, now that you're a freshman in a new group, how do you communicate like what you need? How do you ask people for help in your group?
I just ask honestly. Sometimes people can think that's embarrassing or something that like they might get shunned, but I just ask whenever I have a question. It's either I'm asking the coaches, assistant coaches during practice, or my teammates. I just want to get better, and these guys they're older, so they have experience as well. So I know that when I was a senior, I was helping freshmen with things that nobody helped me with when I was a freshman. So they've been giving me knowledge that they learned from their teammates, and just you see it's like a continuous loop. So when I'm in their shoes, I'll be able to do the same thing to the incoming freshmen for sure.
Do you have any examples of something that you needed help on that you asked for help on?
Let's say like in-game experience. So I asked Kai and Chubb or Ulysses. So they were freshmen last year, but they played a lot. So I asked them like the differences between coming in from high school and then playing immediately, and like just the advice they gave me, I would like work on it in practice. So we talk about pacing, so you never want to be rushed by the defender. So just working on slowing down, breathing, and looking at the whole court, and just being able to understand that if you have the ball in your hands, that you're in control. So just little things like that, and then being able to apply it in the game whilst playing with them made it was a seamless fit.
Fantastic.
So another group that you are a part of on campus is part of the very small Black population. How's your college life felt being like in a PWI? Like, do you feel like it was very different from high school?
Actually, no. So where I'm from, it's very similar as well. I went to a PWI, but I mean, I grew up also in like Woodbridge, Fairfax area and whatnot. So I'm used to being in different situations in diverse areas. But being here, I mean, it's been amazing. Still, off campus, off the court, I have a lot of friends who aren't athletes in my dorm in Willard Hall. So it's like it's a nice community out here. So I really love UNW.
Has there been any tension or like some things that you've had to kind of like learn about, grow about with, because you said that your folks are from Ghana and Togo.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I had culture shocks just coming from like Southern Virginia.
Mm.
So were there any things that you had to adjust to, learn about, etc.?
Uh, I wouldn't say so. Just because I've grown up, I was born and raised here, so it wasn't like anything too different, really. That I would say. Um, but I think also just because of uh, my high school, my middle school, and elementary school, the transition was really the same. So I think it hasn't been anything too difficult or anything.
Well, I'm glad it's been an easy transition for you.
Yeah.
Um, Something I was reading about was I read this one article called Personality Processes and Intergroup Dynamics in Sports Teams. And one of the things it talks about a lot is how some people get really obsessed with the idea of traits, like trait compatibility. Um, what traits do you think you have that have served you well in your group dynamic? Has it been easier to bond due to any of the traits, or do you disagree with the idea entirely?
Oh no, I definitely agree with it. I think just being outgoing. I'm an extrovert, so I think when people see my bubbly personality or not, or um, my sense of freeness, it allows them to also open up too and not feel so um, what's the word? Not feel so just left to themselves. And I think obviously just being a freshman, all five of us only Preston and Ethan knew each other previously, but so all five of us meeting each other on campus, it was like just me being energetic and whatnot. Everybody started opening up, and now we consider ourselves brothers.
So are you a part of any clubs on campus, or are you interested in being a part of any?
I'm interested in FCA. I know I like signed up for it, but I wasn't truly committed to it. That's Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I know I think it's ASA, or is it the ASU, African Student Union? I think it's
Yes.
one of the
Yes.
two.
Mhm.
Definitely interested in that as well. And as of now, I can't think of any other clubs, but those two for sure.
Is your faith like really important to how you engage with sports?
Yeah, for sure. My faith is the most important thing in my life. All glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Everything I do is because the Lord strengthens me, so I allow that to guide me. Before I play, during the national anthem, I always say prayers. Before I shoot free throws, I always say prayer, and it really just calms me down. Sometimes anxiety, nerves, jitters, they can get you to um, overreact or cause you to play a way that you normally wouldn't. So definitely praying and just calming myself down. My faith is the most important thing to me.
And is your group like really supportive of that?
Oh yeah, for sure. A couple of us, when there's like 4 minutes left on the warm up clock, we get down on a one knee and say the Lord's Prayer together, and then we disperse again. But I think it definitely brings us closer together for sure.
So I know that being very open about faith can come with a certain level of um, like people disrespecting you. Like, have you experienced that at all?
I haven't like experienced like any direct, I guess, disrespect about my faith, and if that was to happen, I just believe in spreading love, regardless of what you believe in. We may, have different beliefs in, um, what's the word? Just different roots, but I believe in treating people as you want to be treated. So I take that approach in life.
I love that answer.
This is a question for the group. Do you guys have you guys done a sport, and how have you been what was your role within your group?
So I played basketball for a really long time. Um, it was really interesting. Like in high school, at one point, I was on 3 different teams. I was on the high school team, and I was on 2 separate travel teams that played against each other at one point. So I think it was really interesting because I played a very different role in each team. I feel like in the high school team, I was kind of like the jokester. And in the 2 travel teams, I was more serious because those are more serious teams. But I played the same role on the court every time, which is center, because, for a girl, 5'8" is pretty tall. So, yeah.
Sport. Sorry, what was the question about sport?
What was like your role within?
Yeah, if I go as of right now on the men's rugby team here, I'm vice captain this year, and I'm still deciding whether or not to be captain next year of the team. But before that, I was internationally capped, which means you get to represent your country. So at the Under 23s World Cup 2022, I was there with Scotland. And I was lucky enough to get capped for 3 games. And it was a great experience, kind of like yourself, playing in front of a wide crowd from all around the world. But honestly, apart from that, all I really played was generic British sports such as rugby, football/soccer, and cricket. Um, yeah, but if known as a sport, I do have my references, and I actually have a very good one by Tuckman BW, who wrote a book on developmental sequence in small groups, which is kind of like the psychology behind sports in small groups. And it just, something that you said earlier on really sparked my mind when I was reading this, was the fact that it does tend to be that the most successful groups have the closest bond. In summary, it was a long read, but that is what he's saying pretty much. And on different teams I've played in, I've played on good and bad teams, and sometimes the better players I've played with have been on the worst teams. Very individual players, and there's not much cohesion around the team. And then some of the teams that have actually done better that I've been involved with are teams that in my head I've maybe thought, okay, well, they don't have A, B, C who was here, but what we do have here is we have communication, we have outgoing activities that are outside of our sport, and we also, like on our team right now, we have a lot of faith. Like we have a lot of Christians in our team. It's an awesome thing. That's another way to bring each other together. So I think just a question for me from this is: have you been involved on a basketball team or a track team that maybe didn't have the same cohesion as you do here at UMW?
I'd say my junior year in high school, we were a very talented team, and we were all friends. But you could tell that there was groups on the team. You had the quote unquote cool guys. You had the dudes who didn't really care about basketball, but they made the team, and then you had some people who spaced out to themselves. And my coach actually said like I was like the mediator between all the groups, and we should have definitely been better on paper. On paper, we were a very good team, but on the court, it just didn't translate. You could tell we were on different pages, and guys had different agendas. Some, their main goal, like me, my main goal is to win. So, however it takes to win, I want to win. But some guys, they want to score the most points and win. So if they don't score the most points, then it's a problem. And it was just a bunch of little things that hurt a team. And then I'll compare that to here. So like Coach Marcus Khan, Coach Khan, he instills it into us. Our quote for the team is ID Fixe, and it basically means self-importance is our greatest enemy. So it's instilled that, if you want to be self-important, you are going to be our greatest enemy. So all of us know that we can't be self-important, and we have the slogan attack for a teammate. So don't have the ball just thinking for yourself, but think about your teammates. And it opens up the game on a whole nother level, because once you open up the floor for them, the game also opens up for you as well.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, even as a vice captain right now, I struggled well on our team currently with little cliques within the team, and we obviously have a very big roster. We have almost 70 guys in our team. We have 3 teams there, and it's a very hard thing to do, to keep such a large group of people together, especially if they're all from around the world with different ways of living, I guess, even. And they come to, we like to call it kind of the American subculture, where we're kind of have to get blended all together and take on the American ways. And a lot of people come into that really negatively, thinking that this is how we do it back home, ABC, and this isn't going to work, we're going to do it over here. And one thing I brought into this year was to try and solve that problem was that, guys, that why don't we just buy into this American culture, as the coaches would say, and this is something we all have in common. None of us know each other from, if you're from Scotland, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, anywhere. None of us know each other from there, but we know each other here. Like even when we go back home for Christmas, summer, whatever it is, we don't know each other. But when we come back here, we do know each other, and that is something we brought into the team, and we were able to get a group of maybe I think probably about 46 guys out of that almost 70 guys
Mm.
that are together every single weekend, like at a house and stuff. So I think I do correlate with that big time, and that's honestly a very impressive thing. Being able to be in between two groups is such a hard job to do, especially if things are being said and stuff's flying around.
Yeah.
But I think you gave my reference a great thing there. So thank you very much.
For sure.
I just have one more question, and just because I think it's really important to acknowledge. So I know there's other Black people on your team, but do you feel like you have like a responsibility, or like do you feel any pressure to I don't even know, I forgot the word, sorry.
Okay.
To kind of like represent Black people in like a good way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It can happen anywhere. You can get stereotyped as this or that, or having tattoos or dreads and whatnot. But I think if people actually got to know us on the team, like you would see, like we're probably the nicest people ever. So like they say, don't judge a book by its cover. So I think that definitely. That's definitely just a source of motivation for not just me, but I think all of us. And yeah.
And not that it's even remotely the same, because it isn't. But I think that it's especially unfair to be like, oh, this person is just an example of this larger group, because I feel like a lot of us have to deal with that. I mean, Kiki and Janiaya, you guys are Black. Josh is Black. You're Scottish. Like, you have to represent kind of like the entirety of Scotland when you're here, because you're the only Scottish person an American's ever met, and they're like, wow, your accent. I also have to deal with that a little bit because I've been the first trans person people have met a lot of times, and especially because it's so politicized now. It's like I have to be so normal and so like palatable, so that way you don't walk away thinking that everything you heard was right. And I just want to commend you for that. I know that's a really hard situation to be in, and of course our situations are different, but just all the love to it. Then I'll just do like a silly little wrap-up question. Do you have any professional sports teams that you're a big fan of that you want to just shout right?
Yeah, the Golden State Warriors and the Toronto Raptors. Steph Curry is my favorite player of all time. And I guess my favorite underrated player is Brandon Ingram, and he's on the Toronto Raptors. But I guess my all-time favorite would be Kobe Bryant, my brother, my older brother. That's what really got me started into basketball. I used to watch his highlights all the time, and I remember just falling in love with how he played basketball. So the late, great Kobe Bryant for sure.
Fly high, Kobe.
Oh, I have something to say. What are your thoughts on the Celtics? I feel like, they're the best right now, aren't they?
I mean, the Celtics are good. I'm happy for Jason Tatum. He's doing something that people didn't think he'd be doing. I definitely thought he wouldn't be playing until next season, but to see him recover, it's been really nice to see. They're definitely a good team. I think they're gonna come out the East this year. It's either them or the Pistons to me, but they're definitely a good team.
All right. Well, I think we know what Jania's team is, though.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just say this, 2022 was a great finals. Warriors defeating the Celtics. That was
Oh my gosh.
that was amazing.
Okay. Celtics are gonna win. They always win.
Causing group conflict.
Okay, I'm Janiaya.
I'm Kel.
I'm Doug.
I'm Kiki.
Oh, and I'm Josh.
And this is 4Change.
This is 4Change. Thank you for listening to our podcast.